she's a great Lois, and they make her, you know, she's a strong, independent woman, I would say, but they don't take things too far like they do with. I mean, she's a well-written female character.
She's a wife and she's a mom.
Who's not meant to be like propaganda for a feminist movement.
It's good.
Like I feel like Iris was.
Yeah. It kind of backfired for Iris.
Yeah. And she is also like great casting for Lois. Bitsy Tulloch is her name.
Cool.
Technically it's Elizabeth Tulloch, but everyone calls her Bitsy, and so that's. But
as I've discussed with Ellie, Elizabeth is a very versatile name. And it just kind of depends on the person you become.
Eliza, Beth, Bitsy, Ellie, maybe even. Oh, Ellie. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that when I said it.
Whoa. Okay. Deep breaths.
Let's move on.
Yep.
You need carbs!
May thy knife chip and shatter. There is beauty in imperfections.
You're great. I am.
And if you feel it, are you watching closely?
That would be fun.
Are we recording already?
I do need to clap. You know why I need to clap? You know why people clap like that?
Why?
For production.
Oh, for editing purposes, right?
You can see the clap.
Yeah, and you can hear the
And
clap.
as long as the video has audio, you can
see the big spike.
Big spike. Yep. Yeah, because some people have video editing knowledge. Like Ellie would get that because she's edited some videos. But some people are like, see the spike. So
you should get an actual like clapper.
That'd be fun. I'm sure they're pretty cheap, actually. Yeah. I wouldn't know. Phone's over there. You have to be our. I don't. Yeah.
Oh, we are recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a little quiet for now, but.
Hey, fans.
Yeah. I noticed something interesting. By the way, Zach's here because he moved like 5 minutes away from us, so we can do more in-person stuff if it's just the two of us. But if it's including others like the Nolan Bros, we'll do it over the computer.
$10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
$10 for a movie clapper, guys.
I noticed something interesting about you.
About me?
Yeah. You do phone screen out.
Oh.
Is there a reason, or is it just habit?
Just habit. I mean,
okay.
It's not even always screen out. It's just kind of however. So.
Okay. I do it somewhat for a reason, is because I feel like putting it against your body is more protection.
That's probably true.
I mean, if something is gonna scratch your screen when it's facing out, it's also gonna scratch your jeans. So you're gonna lose two things. Mm-hmm. Not that makes it better. Just saying, I don't think there's actually a reason, because there's not really gonna be anything unless somebody's taking a knife and.
Oh yeah. Well, then you've got other problems if someone's coming at you with a knife.
then that's at least your worries. Maybe you need to think about surviving.
Do you put your phone in with the charging port up or charging port down?
Good question. Charging port up.
Okay.
But I think what this is more leading up to is like I'm holding my phone and it's a down.
Okay.
Because I feel like with yours you spin and then down.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could also say it's the same direction, so you don't have to flip it. If you do charging port down, then it's more like a holster, I guess. If you're holding it, charging port down, but then you get a bunch of lint in there. Like I don't know anyone who wants to deal with that.
I don't know how you end up with more crap in your charging port if you do it up or down. Because if you do it up, then more stuff falls into it.
True.
If you do down, then just more lint. So.
I've had snow and stuff fall into it that way.
Yeah.
But at least with Pixels, yours is Pixel 2, is that it shuts off the USB usage when it senses something in there until it's cleared out. And usually, like, I have a wireless charger, and so if it's liquid or something, it drips out.
Okay.
And then it's perfectly fine.
Nice.
It's worse when it's stuck in there and you have to take something and dig it out.
I usually take it in somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
They can clean it pretty good for you.
Yeah, you
for free,
usually need maintenance stuff, too. Yeah, that's our off-topic topics.
Yeah.
I'm also sick.
Is Ellie still behind us?
Nope,
Oh, no, she's gone.
she's hiding now.
Ellie's gone.
You might have seen her for a little bit at the beginning because I do want to keep some of this. Sorry, honey.
Lol.
I'm also sick because I went to my family's over Christmas and we managed to record and produce the 100th episode before that happened. And so I'm actually not as gravelly today, but I will be coughing. I'll try and cut those out. I also know that stuff will be picked up on his mic, so even if I do this, even if I put it away, I'll still be able to hear it. But, yeah. Anyways, we had our 100th episode, and it was pretty cool.
I missed it.
Missed it. It wasn't... I don't think the episode itself was that crazy. It's just... It happens with the end of the year, holidays and stuff. People aren't available.
Yeah.
But yeah, we launched new merch. We still have the $2 sticker deal going on. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that $2 for a sticker is a lot. But when you consider that technically ordering from Printify would have been like $6, it's way better. So do that if you want a sticker. What else?
Dude, the weird thing about being in person is that I have to think about that I'm on camera the whole time.
You don't think about that when we're...
Well, when I think, you know, when if I'm just being quiet in an episode, I figure that I'm not going to be on camera. But
Yeah.
now I'm just going to be on camera the whole time, so I have to think about what
That's
I'm
right,
looking at.
that's right.
I just can't just be staring off into space when you're talking.
Yeah, I guess I do think about that when I'm online. Is that or on a video call? I think that if somebody else is talking, I can dilly dally and mute myself and talk
Type
to Ellie.
on something and
So that Vikings game though, that
which one
has happened by the time they're listening to this. The Vikings Lions game.
the Lions one? Did I see that?
No, that
Is this
the
just a
Vikings
bit?
and Lions play tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay.
And by the time this comes out,
Ah.
everyone will know what the outcome of that was. So that's really interesting. I just thought that'd be funny because it's
talk about it in, like-
it's the game that everyone's waiting for,
Yeah.
and we don't know what's going to happen. And I'm putting the screenshot of the result on screen now, and I'm either very sad or very happy. Either way, we're in the playoffs, and it's either going to be a struggle bus or... Actually, we could record two different things.
We should have talked about it like we know what happened.
Yeah.
Without
that's what I was saying. Is
well,
like
giving
that
like
Vikings
vague
game,
answers. So it's like,
Yeah.
wow, that team sure scored a lot of points.
They did, and now they're going off to the number 1 seed in the playoffs, which is
Yeah, good job,
great.
sports
Bad.
team.
I hate you, Lions. Actually, that's
Great job,
both.
Vikings.
That's regardless of the
Lions.
outcome. Either Lions, you deserve that loss, or I hate you because you're better than us, which is actually not that hard to say because the Vikings haven't been that great.
Yeah,
Anyways, Minnesota talk.
Minnesota talk.
As in, usually we don't talk about local stuff.
Well, I mean that's not too local.
It's our off-topic
It's
topics.
state. Somewhere
Been
not
going for
topic
8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a counter on the microphone.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
Got a timer on my microphone, guys.
Yep. Not sponsored by Chick-fil-A, by the way.
No,
We
we're
could.
not. I don't. Is that in shot?
I don't know. But you've been drinking from it.
Yeah, I grabbed it.
Actually, Chick-fil-A would be one of the companies that I want to get sponsored by.
Yeah.
And they might. I don't know.
I don't know.
That they sponsor anybody, but they don't need it.
Dude, we gotta do an episode of the Chick-fil-A at some point.
At a Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, that'd be
I do
fun.
think that the idea that we had last week where we go to a restaurant that somebody works at and ask their opinion as they work. Like, now I know, like, you work at a restaurant, Josh works at a restaurant. That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Josh is going back to college, though. He might have to do that in the summer or something.
Go surprise him in Virginia.
He doesn't work at a restaurant in Virginia.
Yeah. Is it safe to say that he lives in Virginia for most of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I try not to talk to people too much. It's pretty obvious that we're from Minnesota. But then...
Here's my
he's
exact
mentioned
address,
every-
guys.
And my IP address and my social security number.
Yeah. Netflix login.
That one you might actually want because then you can Watch Arcane.
Hey, go watch Arcane. Andy, respond to Seth's message.
Yeah.
Because you're definitely watching this.
Wait a second. That was what I was going to do. I was going to call out Andy and Josh. And those few people who can put those two names together and know what we're talking about.
Well, Lily and Andrew, too.
Now you've basically given it all away.
I don't think that's... When people hear... If people hear Andy, Josh, Lily, and Andrew, I don't think they can put the pieces together.
I'm not saying like a celebrity.
Yeah.
But they'd understand if they're already a fan.
Oh, I suppose.
So, if you care to research that, you can. Excuse me. Andy, respond to my message, please. Hopefully, by the time this episode has come out, then
we know more.
That we would have hopefully recorded it, is at least what it sounds like. We got a cool episode coming for you. We hope. I don't see how it will go wrong.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you guys on. And maybe I'll just make this into a clip and tag them. And
Come to Minnesota, guys.
That's a big ask.
Oh, yeah.
We'll fly you out.
Yeah, we can play that.
To our studio.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Josh, you can sit on the beanbag.
I really haven't kept up the illusion that my office actually exists. Like most of the time, I don't mention that I have a green screen. But then we cut to this in person, and it looks nothing like what we usually look like.
Guys, Seth's been lying to you since the first episode.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since we started video, I should probably say.
It's true. I was thinking about this. What was your first episode?
Free Guy.
Free Guy.
Which was like episode 3.
Yeah, because I remember that was one I really wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Was that the one we had to re-record?
Yeah.
Because I lost power in the middle of a storm and we weren't using Riverside then.
The undisclosed Bible camp at the time.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I know, yeah.
Good stuff.
I feel like you probably shouldn't say the names of churches or Bible camps. That's
more of a doxing thing. But again, if people look me up, they'll find my website, they'll find my portfolio.
Yeah.
And my resume's updated now, so you wouldn't find that Bible camp. But you could probably find people who know which Bible camp it is.
Do they?
I've also worn shirts from that Bible camp.
I don't know if people actually know my last name on the podcast, do they?
I try and keep the names off, the last names off, but also searching hard enough on Instagram, you'll also find it. Yeah. I don't know. You can't keep anything off the internet for too long.
Guys, please don't stalk me. That's my request.
It's my Christmas wish. Or my 2025 resolution.
Not to be stalked.
I can't laugh, is the thing. Like, laughing then causes coughing.
You know what I realized recently? If someone were to Insta-stalk me, and if you looked at my tagged photos, one of the first things you'll see is me as Elphaba.
I did not know this.
Because of the meme page.
Oh!
Yeah.
The meme page that tagged you because of... What did it say?
Our Wicked episode.
I know the Wicked episode, but it was like...
It
was a tagline.
Oh, I forgot the tagline they put. Let me look this up.
I want to look it up because now there's something relevant. And it's funny that it was...
Hey guys, go listen to our Wicked episode if you haven't. That was a fun one.
Yeah, it was. And very relevant. And I don't know. I sent you something from Threads, which again, I'm a Threads user. Yeah, it's not that bad.
I gotta just get Threads so I can easier access.
You already have an account through Instagram.
Yeah.
So
no actress was erased in the making of this meme.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was a reference to the
I didn't see
poster.
that the first time. I just saw that now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wicked has continued to grow in popularity, especially as the digital release came out. So people are watching it again.
And people did the thing where it's like if you started it at the right time on New Year's Eve, you kicked in the new year with the Elphaba's riff at the end of Defying Gravity.
And the good part about that is then you can just finish the movie and then go to bed.
Yeah.
You don't have to like watch another 2-hour movie if your intro to 2025 clip is right at the beginning of the movie or whatever. Yeah.
Those are always silly when it's like I've seen people do like Iron Man 3 and kick off the new year with Tony Stark, but that's like the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I was playing the telephone game with writing something and then drawing something.
Oh, Telestrations. Yeah.
And I think someone who didn't know what Wicked was got the picture of Isaac Newton and the apple falling on his head.
Oh.
And they wrote Defining Gravity, but they had no idea, like no real interest in Wicked. So we all got a kick out of it being Defining Gravity. And then, of course, I looked up, because I'm like, it has to exist. The parody has to exist. Yeah. It does. It's actually a very good a cappella song.
A cappella, too. Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy.
and it's a whole thing of, like, I need to define gravity and put aside all the Aristotle hypotheses and things that they'd thought in the past and work on this gravity thing.
It's time to try defying gravity.
So yeah, I thought it was funny. And quality, so.
Wow.
Yeah, we should.
We've been going on for 15 minutes with these off-topic topics.
Well, I've been trying to keep the new episodes to hour to an hour and a half recording so that we don't have 2-hour-long episodes anymore. But
yeah.
We haven't even mentioned this isn't even a leading up to the topic we want to talk about. This is just fun.
I mean, we could have led up to it when we were talking about the 2025 episode.
It's true.
Yeah.
Because you listened to it, right?
No, that came out yesterday. Did that come out yesterday?
It came out yesterday.
I was busy yesterday.
I know, you were moving.
I'm still not even done unpacking.
Oh man, I'm sorry for taking you away from that.
No, that's okay.
It's gonna be a while.
It's a pleasant distraction.
Yeah. So, I guess the one thing that's relevant from the 2025 episode going into this episode about Superman, which hopefully I've titled it properly so that they know that that's what it's about and that we haven't just been chatting for 15 minutes about nothing.
This isn't just us vibing for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You got a topic.
The thing that I said about Superman in the 2025 episode is that I think it has billion-dollar potential.
Yeah, definitely.
Because of all the eyes on it.
Yep.
You have, maybe, I don't know, would Snyder fans go and see it?
No, I don't think.
No, you think they'd boycott?
Yeah, I'd expect they'd boycott.
So you might lose some people there, but also I think the Snyder fans are few and loud.
Yeah.
As opposed to DC fans, superhero fans, James Gunn fans. Those people are gonna go out and see this, and this would easily, I think, be a family superhero movie. It's not a kids movie.
No.
Like Elio or Lilo and Stitch, which I also said one of those is going to near $1 billion because it's a family movie. Family movies go up there very quickly. I also think Superman has rewatch potential.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For a lot of fans. It's going to be that one guy. Do you remember the Dune Part 2 guy who watched it like 37 times and had receipts for every single one? I'm like, that's so much money.
Yeah.
Goodness.
The most I've gone to a movie in theaters was 4 times.
Which was?
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are ones that I wish I would have done. And I also don't know that re-releases count.
Oh, if we're not counting re-releases, then it was 3.
Okay.
1 was the re-release.
Yeah.
So.
Like, that's cheap. It's similar to, like, re-releasing Endgame to be like, oh, we need to beat the 2 billion, be the #1 movie. That's a studio perspective on it, but Superman has rewatch potential for a lot of people. It's getting a lot of eyes. It's the launch to the DCU, even though Creature Commandos is being released and other shows and TV or movies are being retconned into the DCU. This is the first real one. But we're also not talking about Superman the movie.
No.
Which I still have a habit of calling it Superman Legacy because I feel like remakes need to be more specific in their naming convention. And I don't think that's James Gunn's strong suit.
It's also, I mean, we've already had a movie just called Oh no, I guess the Christopher Reeve one might have been titled Superman the movie. Because I'm just thinking it's weird for it to have the same title, but now I think the first one was Superman the movie.
It's just difficult for like looking it up and making sure you're talking about the right one.
Yeah.
I mean, Google does a good job saying like, oh, you mean the 2025? But then it just adds 2025 to the end of the title.
Yeah.
And Superman Legacy is a lot more meaningful. You don't have to. You could just say legacy when you start talking about, you know, when they inevitably make more Superman movies. Now you know which Superman you're talking about. So.
But anyway, we're not just talking about the new movie. We're talking about,
even though we have.
Yeah.
So far.
We'll get back to him, but we're here to talk about the character in general.
Yeah, because you've been wanting
Superman
this episode for a while.
I have been.
Because it's probably... Next to Batman, do you think he's been the most adapted character?
The most what?
Adapted character.
Adapted character.
So there's the core character of Superman.
Yeah.
And there's been multiple variations and reboots and remakes and actors.
Yeah, it's probably those two. You feel like Spider-Man would have had more too, but I mean, he's only actually got 3.
4.
So.
Well, Spider-Man as Spider-Man or Peter Parker? Because technically Miles is Spider-Man.
Yeah, I was just talking about live action, but because there's like a lot of live action Batman and there's a lot of live action Superman, but then there's only 3 live action.
Yeah.
If we're talking about animated, there's a lot of all of them, especially if we're getting into like the cartoon series and straight to home release movies and everything. So my cup says Superman on it.
That's how they notified you that was you?
Carry out Superman shirt. My Chick-fil-A coffee was even ready for this episode.
The person didn't say, "Hey, what's your name?" Did
Well, they do.
I know, but did you
It
say?
says Zach on the top.
Oh, but it also says Superman shirt.
Yeah.
I assume that they typed
Oh no, I
a
spoiled
feature of you to try and be like, "Oh, I forgot his name."
Dang it, I spoiled the surprise though.
Superman shirt.
Where's Superman? Clark in here?
Okay, so we always start off these character analyses with what makes the character.
Oh, first off, I gotta do this.
Oh yeah.
I gotta.
Oh yeah, the whole joke about him having a Superman shirt doesn't work when you
Bang.
can't see it. Whoa.
There we go.
Yeah, he did the thing.
Cue the John Williams theme.
Do you plan on getting a David Cornsweet style Superman shirt?
Dude, I would love a David Cornsweet Superman style shirt.
So you're a fan of the logo.
Yeah.
What's it based off of? It's the
Kingdom Come.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is kind of like a. Not post-apocalyptic's not the right word, but a dark future.
Yeah. Okay.
But I understand why they did his logo the way they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized now we're talking more about David Cornsweet.
I think we save that for the second half of the episode.
So do you want me to
We'll come back.
continue? Okay. I'll continue this thought later. Wow,
Okay.
that's fuzzy.
It's fuzzy.
It just touched my chin.
I'm gonna sleep on it.
Oh. Here we go.
What makes Superman Superman? And I want to say what was consistent throughout all of his adaptations, but I believe that Snyder ruined some of them.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that.
Yep.
But when you talk about Superman, even people who don't care about comics and movies, and it's still one of the most iconic superheroes because of its relevance throughout time.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to that question?
What makes Superman Superman?
Yeah.
Well, I've said before, like, I think the best superheroes can be summed up in one word. I've said, Spider-Man responsibility, Batman vengeance. I had other ones. I've had other examples of this before too, but I forgot what those
And
were.
the Flash. I don't remember what your word was, but we talked about the Flash.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Superman is obviously hope.
Yep.
I think hope
Well,
is.
That's what the S. It's not supposed to be an S.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's just a Kryptonian symbol that looks like this. But hope is also the core of who his character is. He always sees the best in people. He's not the one who's gonna kill the villain because he thinks they're too far gone. He sees the best in them. He sees that they could have a second chance, and he always fights to make the world better because he sees that the world could be better.
Yeah. What about more of the details of Superman? Obviously, Clark Kent is the main one, or his main alter ego. I don't know that. I mean, he's not one of those characters who can be different actor or different personas. Like, it is Superman, it's Clark Kent, it's Kal-El, all the same person. It's not a mantle, I guess.
No.
So, even though there are different Kryptonians,
Yep.
Superman is one person consistently. And came from Krypton, blew up the planet. Sometimes people come with him, depending on the story.
Yeah.
And I'd be curious to know, again, coming back to the new Superman movie, Krypto was Crypto in the pod with him? Is that a thing that's well known? Okay. So
Typically, I think.
Yeah.
So
I do think that if anyone wants to start off with a good Superman movie, is to do the first Christopher Reeves movie. Because it's just
have you seen it?
a long time ago with my dad.
Oh, okay.
It's got the, not top tier, it probably was top tier graphics for then, but they just do a classic Superman story. Everyone's kind of dumb, doesn't realize who Clark Kent is.
I watched that one for the first time like last year, and I feel like that's kind of a hard movie to watch for the first time as like an adult.
Okay, because you
In this, it's
want to be critical of it? Is that why?
I'm just saying it's very 70s.
Yeah.
And it's very of the time. So I understand if you grew up with it, you're nostalgic about it, but I feel like, he plays Superman really well. I mean, he plays both sides of Superman and Clark Kent really well, but I think the movie, it just feels too of its time for me.
I guess that's why it's been remade so many times.
Yeah.
But it also, from what I remember, gets the story down.
Yeah.
The origin of him. I was interested to learn that, was it Superman Returns with Routh?
Yep.
That's technically the same Superman.
Yes. It's technically like, even though they made Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4, this is technically a sequel to Superman 2.
But then you said references something from 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Later?
When Brandon Routh comes back in Crisis on Infinite Earths,
Gotcha.
the CW crossover, he references something that happens in Superman 3.
So why can't it be a Superman 2.5 that happens between 2 and 3? Why does it have to technically branch off from...
Good question. I think that... Well, Superman 3 and 4 are not good movies from what I've heard, so I think that's mostly why...
I've heard that too.
I think that's mostly why Superman Returns was kind of a branch.
Gotcha.
Just because...
I saw... I think Pitch Meeting did a Superman 3 video, and they did something like, this doesn't even focus on Superman. We don't care about him. Modern interpretations. I have not seen the Brandon Routh. Ruth?
Yeah. Routh? I think Routh.
Brandon Routh's interpretation, though, that still tend to be... What's his, like, tagline? Not tagline, but, like, America's Boy Scout? Is that kind of the...
that's, Superman in general is...
I know, that's what I meant,
that.
as we're talking about the character of Superman. But it's like, that was an era that they still didn't really care for realism, and it was still a bright costume, spandex, and perfect hair, blah, blah, blah. But it looked good. I remember seeing some of the CGI looking pretty solid.
So you haven't seen that one?
I have not seen that one. I've seen clips of it.
The movie's just kind of dull and boring.
Okay.
I don't know how much else I have to
It's
say
like
about
they
that
thought
one.
it was cooler than it actually was.
Yeah.
It fell flat.
Routh was a great cast as Superman,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of just a boring movie.
Continuing with Routh, then being cast in
Arrow?
Flash first?
Arrow, yeah.
It was the Arrow first. And turning into Atom, the Atom.
Yep, the Atom.
It seemed pretty obvious that they would then, as they're doing crossovers and bringing back old characters and bringing in the Batman voice actor as an actual Batman for one episode, it's like, it's kind of obvious what they're going to do. They're going to bring anyone who has any connection into this crossover with multiple universes. And I think I appreciate that. And I believe that Adam and Superman also had a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. The problem with getting to those Crisis episodes is, like, you'd have to watch other episodes to get there, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
Overall, the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover kind of sucked.
Okay,
But
yeah.
I think
It's a lot of eye candy, I think.
Brandon Routh, I think, really redeemed himself as Superman. He was a great Superman in that, better than I think he was in
Was he a few
Superman
episodes?
Returns.
It wasn't just a cameo.
He was in at least one episode. It
'Cause he's
was,
not-
it was more than a cameo.
I know, but he's not the Arrowverse Superman because that was taken over by...
Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna butcher a lot of last names in this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's Ralph.
You also don't know how to say Cavill.
See, I was gonna mention that. See, I don't know if it's Routh or Ruth. I don't know if it's Hoechlin or Hoechlin. I don't know if it's. I guess I know it's Cavill now.
Henry Cavill.
Cavill. I feel like even when I try to say it right, it sounds weird.
I know.
Henry Cavill.
I was thinking about how you used to pronounce it.
I said Cavill.
Yeah.
Dude, they were. They were just talking about that in the most recent Ninjas and Butterflies episode.
Oh.
How, because Lily just said Henry Cavill. And
Yeah.
they were like, that's not how you pronounce it. And then they were singing it to the melody of Cruella de Vil. Henry Cavill, Henry Cavill.
Sorry. Yeah.
Go check out Ninjas and Butterflies.
There's the Brandon Routh kind of turned into cameo, though he did multiple episodes in
Yeah.
Arrowverse. But then that technically happened way after Man of Steel and the DCEU.
Yes.
Because the DCEU was going down, Marvel was going down, and Arrowverse was going down.
Yeah.
So that was the down point. But backing up to Man of Steel. Man of Steel is not a bad movie.
No, I will not say it's a bad movie.
It is probably one of the best of the DCEU,
Yeah.
even though it was the first, which was really sad.
Yeah.
Though, I don't think Snyder nailed the character of
No.
Superman. There's a lot of problems with that movie. People have a problem with Pa Kent and his death.
Yeah.
I have a
big
problem
issues with
with how Superman dealt with Lex Luthor.
General Zod.
Yeah, sorry, General Zod.
Lex Luthor.
What else about Man of Steel?
It
Doesn't work, I guess, because again, it's not a bad movie. I'd still watch it. I still get thrown at the very end when he's at the Daily Planet and he's being greeted. Like the final shot of the movie. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that when he's just smiling with the glasses, or?
I know the final shot is him going like. It's not his smile, and I don't know if that's him trying to cover up,
Okay.
being a different person. But he looks very awkward.
I
in
forgot that's the final
and
shot.
then it's like, who are you? And he goes, "Is Superman." So it throws me every time I watch it. But yeah,
Yeah. What was it? I would say it is a good movie, but bad Superman.
yeah,
I think really with the character of Superman, I would almost say the man is more important than the super.
wow, that's deep.
Yeah. Put that on a t-shirt.
Yep.
What else about that? Because I think Cavill's, or not Cavill's, and I was meant to say Snyder's approach to Superman was really just like a lonely god. Is who I feel like Superman was represented as in Man of Steel.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like the fisherman
Yeah.
bar scene where he's an angsty boy, shirtless, dripping wet, and all that. Don't
And-
worry that I did that. But then he throws the truck on the pole and whatever to make a point.
Yeah, I mean he never seems very hopeful, for one thing. But
I think that's key. And
Yeah.
when you said that Superman's word is hope, obviously, there's not a lot of hope in Snyder's Superman.
I mean, he even says that the S is a sign of hope in the movie, but I never feel like he's the most hopeful in that movie.
He doesn't
But,
live up to it.
He was just a small town boy raised in Kansas, and that's who he is. Is what I would say.
Yeah, because he doesn't remember Krypton.
No.
He grew up on Earth and has these powers. He knows that. He knows he's not from... Like, his parents also can tell him, like, you're not from Earth.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know anything different.
Yeah, we said in the Batman episode that Bruce Wayne is the mask that Batman wears.
Obviously, yeah.
Batman's kind of like who he really is on the inside. But Clark Kent is who Superman really is on the inside.
Yeah.
He's not this... I mean, physically he's this big, powerful superhero. But that's not who he is internally.
Yeah.
He's just a nice guy. He's just a chill dude.
No, I knew you were going to go there.
No.
Yeah, he just... super angry all the time in Man of Steel. And then we got him in Batman v Superman, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
And then Justice League, he comes
Came
back.
back, yeah.
But backing up to Batman v Superman, that whole movie is frustrating because it seems so convoluted, and the way Lex tries and makes them, again, angry at each other for anger's sake, I
Yeah.
guess.
And he's...
At least he's more of a, I would say he's more of a hope figure in there because of the people's perspective on him.
I was
I'm
gonna say-
thinking of like the
I was gonna say he's more hopeless. in that
possibly,
one.
but I'm saying a symbol of hope,
Yeah.
where you have the flooding, you have the people, reaching out to touch him and all that, which I've heard, reflecting on the up and coming movie, that it's very different from people throwing stuff at him and being angry at him, as is showed in the trailer. So I don't know. It was better in that movie to show how people saw him, I guess. Because, but that was also the problem, is because Batman didn't see that. Bruce didn't see that. He looked up and saw him tearing through buildings and dropping massive amounts of debris on people and not caring about the collateral. So it goes both ways.
Because that's the movie where he like really debates if he should just like leave humanity or not.
Because he talks about that with his mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is very pessimistic. I just think Snyder's interpretation of like all of the DC characters is just very pessimistic.
Yeah.
And then his mom tells him like, be a hero to these people, be their savior, or be none of it. It's like that was a weird line.
Yeah.
It's like what kind of motivation's that?
Also, in Snyder Cut Justice League, wasn't it revealed that she was Martian Manhunter for a little bit? Or is that...
I think that was probably after that, but...
I know, after that. But I'm saying at some point there was like a Rhodey scroll switch,
Yeah.
and you don't know what was actually Martha and which was Martian Manhunter.
It's she has like this super emotional conversation with Lois.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that she was Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
Which kind of takes away from the emotion of that scene.
Yeah. Not sure.
And
Then he dies. That was pretty crazy for the second movie of Henry Cavill's
Yeah.
debut to suddenly be dead.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why you did try and adapt Death of Superman in your second movie.
They were rushing it. Everyone will agree that the DCEU was rushing things. They needed a team-up movie. They needed...
I understand why you'd rush a team-up movie, but I don't understand why you'd rush the Death of Superman.
I get that, yeah. Yeah, and I don't think it landed.
No.
Especially with the sudden revelation at the end of the movie with the dust rising. Like, obviously he's coming back, but that wasn't how he came back.
No.
The Justice League showed that they brought him back because they needed him, and that I don't get why the dirt rose.
I always thought it would be interesting, like, if a movie, like if in the Justice League movie Superman didn't come back, and it was about the world trying to, or even the Justice League trying to fight and save the world without Superman. I think that would be an interesting movie.
I do think they needed another movie between the team up movies, and not there was Wonder Woman, there was Aquaman. There wasn't much more about the Superman focused world and what they were thinking or doing. And
I think I've said this before on the podcast, but bringing a character back from the dead without consequences is bad writing,
yeah.
and that's what happened.
Well, I'm going to push back. There were consequences that the Flash immediately fixed. Like, they didn't do it right, and the entire multiverse exploded. And then Barry was like, oh, no, I can go back and do it better. Because remember, they were trying to touch the mother box to the pond, the gross pond, and bring him back, and then Cyborg blew up because he didn't do it at the right time.
I thought that's the end of the movie where that happens.
Oh.
That's not when they bring
That
Superman
wasn't
back.
bringing Superman back?
That's
joining the mother box, or separating the mother boxes.
Yeah. Rewind.
I'll cut that. Gosh, how did they bring Superman back then?
It was the cube hitting the pond.
Yeah.
But it didn't take a second try.
Oh.
Or anything. The big scene with the Flash is at the end of the movie.
Okay. I was thinking about when they meet Superman at the memorial, right when he's resurrected, and he starts fighting them. Apparently somebody slowed down because obviously Henry Cavill's shirtless, and his laser beams charge up.
why
in
wouldn't
his,
you?
His laser beams charge up in his pecs, I guess, because of something that Cavill did. He like flexed his chest and then exploded. And it just looked funny. That's something I noticed. But again, that scene had very choppy dialogue. I think especially in the Joss cut, the Justice League.
Kal-El, no.
Kal-El, no.
Yeah. Well, some people will say that Gal Gadot isn't that great of a actress.
I'd
but
probably agree.
hot take. So
What was I about to say?
then he comes back in the Snyder cut of Justice League,
I've only
saves
seen-
the day.
I watched half of the Snyder Cut.
Oh, yeah,
I,
you
I
did?
think I brought this up on the podcast before.
You got bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we only planned on watching half of it that evening. Neither of
Movies-
us ever bothered to get back to it, though.
Movies don't need to be 4 hours.
Nope.
Just because they can.
Especially with all the slow-mo and everything that
Yeah,
Zack
just
Snyder
speed up.
uses anyway. It's just
you cut off a half hour of time if all of the slow mo was normal
Yeah.
speed. Spoiler, but you probably know this. Not like you don't want it to be spoiled. But at the end of the movie, he has
Well,
the
I
black
know.
Superman
Yeah.
suit.
Yep.
He stops Darkseid from killing Cyborg. I think Cyborg was separating the mother boxes, and he's like no and freezes the axe and just
Steppenwolf, you mean?
Steppenwolf. Yep.
Yep.
We haven't truly seen Darkseid as a real foe. He's
No.
been teased, but
I'm ready for it to happen.
I hope so. But then that's basically where we left. Oh no, I forgot that the hierarchy has been changing, or is about to change.
Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
I feel like we're missing one of his appearances.
Well, he was a headless Superman in Shazam because I couldn't figure out what to do with him.
Oh, he didn't make that many appearances, did he?
No, he's pretty limited, and then he showed up in Black Adam.
Yeah.
And for like a week, it was literally a week, and he was like, "Guys, I'm back. I'm back as Superman."
Oh, he even...
He made a full post.
That was
and-
such a sad time.
I know. And then suddenly the next week, James Gunn is scrapping everything, and he's like,
Yeah, and then he has another post where he's like, "Sorry, guys, I'm going."
"It happens so fast.
It
Like it's
did.
different if it had
was like a week.
if it had way more time in between those two things happening.
Yeah.
it would have been very different. But it was so quick." And I remember watching Black Adam, and it was such a weird movie and
was a
very
weird movie.
demonic too.
Yeah.
And another Rock movie that we've talked about where he flexes on it way too much. He's like, "This is the best thing ever since sliced bread."
That movie's got so many exposition dumps too.
I know.
It's crazy.
I do think the team of that movie, which I forget their name,
Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher.
there was some pretty cool scenes
They were
with
cool.
those, but not at all the next Justice League.
Yeah.
So then that happens. Then James Gunn takes over.
Womp womp.
But we're going to back up again because I believe before this was Tyler's introduction as Superman in
Well,
a
we
Arrowverse
could-
show, correct?
We could jump back a little more.
More?
Talk
More,
about
you
Tom,
say?
Tom Welling. Do you want to talk about Tom Welling?
He was another Arrowverse, correct?
No.
No, he was Smallville.
Pre-Arrowverse.
He was Smallville,
Yeah.
and he came back in Arrowverse.
Yeah, he came back.
So there were 3 Supermans in Arrowverse.
He was just a cameo.
I know, but there were 3 Supermans in the crossover.
Yeah, they were all in that
shows.
crossover, yeah.
Okay. So you can talk about Smallville. I know nothing
How much
about
do I have to say
Smallville,
about Smallville?
except that Alan Richmond was a very small man playing Aquaman back then.
Alan Richardson, yeah. Smallville's a long show.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's like 10 seasons long.
But people
think-
say it's good.
Yeah. I think it's one of those shows where like the original intention was just like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Because I think it was just supposed to be for his 4 years of high school.
Yeah.
But then they were like, hey, let's keep going.
The premise reminds me of Gotham, and I don't know that you've seen Gotham.
No, I haven't seen Gotham.
But Gotham
it's-
is one that I really enjoyed.
But Bruce Wayne isn't really a central character in Gotham, is he?
No, it's more villain-centered because
Okay.
they're the adults, but he's still in Gotham.
Okay. I mean, this one focuses on Superman growing up, and it's weird. I really like the show, but just he never really quite felt like Superman to me.
It was just more Clark Kent focused? Or just not, it doesn't feel like the same.
You know, especially, I mean, the show was meant to be like him becoming Superman.
Yeah.
But when that stretches out over 10 years, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And it's weird when like the Justice League forms and everything before he's even
And they're teenagers and stuff.
actually Superman. Well, no, they're not. They're older than teenagers.
Okay.
All that happens after he graduates high school and everything. But
Okay.
you know, the Justice League forms. He meets all these characters before he's even Superman yet. Because the show had the no flight, no tights rule.
So it's similar to like you can't have this very obvious staple of the character.
Yeah.
It was similar to Gotham where they couldn't say Joker, they couldn't say Batman,
Mm-hmm.
but they could use the other characters' names.
Like he only really flies in the show once before the last episode, and that's when he's under control by some Kryptonian whatever or so. But
Oh yeah, forget about all the Kryptonians that survive with him that just kind of show up later.
yeah,
Do you think it's just Kara, maybe, and Zod?
I mean
pretty
a lot
much?
of that show too was him wrestling with his Kryptonian side and his human side,
Yeah,
which was interesting to see.
cool.
Because I think it turns out that he was partially sent down to like take over Earth, is what it turns out.
Wow. So you
But the-
retcon the.
Yeah, but then he's like, I don't want to do that. I like these people here. I like these people here, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he played the role pretty well. I don't.
You only have a certain amount that you can play a role if you're not given the full breadth of
Yeah.
that role.
And I think he personally didn't really want to wear the suit either. So
Well, and I remember, I believe it was the crossover episode
yeah,
where he like is approached by Lex Luthor and he like just throws the kryptonite really far and he's like, is that technically the continuation of his
Yep.
character? He's like, I don't really care.
he turns out he gives up his powers
Gotcha.
and decides to just start a family with Lois.
Cool.
It was interesting with him too. You know, there was a whole arc about him figuring out who Clark Kent should be. You know, because he eventually realizes like, hey, I should act differently when I'm Clark Kent, so I don't give away
Whoa,
everything.
crazy
So,
concept.
Yeah. So that's why, I mean, he wears the glasses and he starts like intentionally being more clumsy and everything, just so no one will believe that he's Superman. So that was interesting.
As a quasi storyteller, I want to follow that train of thought and be like, okay, so then do the people around him say this isn't you? Like they're like, you're trying to be the opposite of what Superman is to hide your identity, but not Superman, you know, because it's not Superman in the show. But then you're losing us as friends because we don't know the real you. It's just a show. It's a sham. That's how I would write that. I don't know if they actually did that.
It was kind of like that. Again,
Okay.
it's been a while since I watched the show. It's not really a show you can like rewatch to prep for something like this
Huh.
because
Just because it's so long? Or
no,
because,
because it's like 10 seasons long.
Yeah.
And you text me a week ago and it's like, hey, we're gonna do Superman next. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I felt bad that you couldn't be in the 100th episode, so you
Yeah.
wanted you right away. And you moved, so.
Yeah.
Anything else about Smallville?
I think that's all I got on Smallville.
Okay, so Smallville happens, gets all this crossover in the Arrowverse. Then DCEU ends with Black Adam, not with Black Adam, but like that's his last appearance. Supposed to be a big, you know, maybe Superman versus Black Adam showdown, which will never happen.
Are we saving animated for after we talk about the live action
You
ones?
can go off on your animated rant. I don't know.
Okay.
Diddly squat about
Okay.
animated.
So, as I've said before,
I'm actually giving you a lot of these because you've
Yeah.
watched them. The Smallville, the animated, and the Superman and Lois are all going to be yours. Just go for it.
we've talked about the DCAU on here a couple times before.
You have.
We've, yeah. Kevin Conroy's Batman. And then in the Flash episode, we talked about Wally West, played by Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex in Smallville.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Did you know that already?
Nope.
Oh,
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, Superman the animated series and Justice League and Justice League Unlimited was really kind of like the gold standard for him, and Christopher Reeve are both like the gold standards of who Superman should be, and I think it's easier to do that in an animated show.
Sure.
Because I would consider most of the characters in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited to be the gold standards of the characters.
Is it because of what we talked about animation before, where when you're not trying to make it the most realistic possible, you have that ability to do some unbelievable things, not just visually, but with a story and a character that doesn't belong. Mm-hmm. When Superman was originally created, it was meant to be otherworldly. It's supposed to live on the comic page, and when you bring him into live action, you have to make other things real that don't really work with that, I guess.
I think that's a big part of it, just
the animation medium.
There's more of a struggle with realism when you're in live action, and when you're animated, you have more freedom and more creativity to just go with it.
Yeah.
I think one of the most interesting things about his character, especially as you got into Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, is that he's really the Superman who holds back, is what I would say about him. He knows he needs to hold back, because if he didn't, he'd cause mass destruction.
Yeah.
I want to pull up a video for us to watch, and then can you cue that in on the... Okay.
Yeah, I'll put it over. Just intro it a little bit.
So this is from... Let me think. This is from Justice League Unlimited. He's fighting Darkseid. And it's really just a rare opportunity for him to cut loose. And it's such a cool scene. He's got some cool stuff he says.
So where he could go all in.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. He chooses not. Oh, I'll watch it, but...
You still try to fight. Can't you see that it's hopeless?
That man won't quit as long as he can still draw a breath. None of my teammates will. Me? I've got a different problem. I feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break something, to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die. You can take it, can't you, big man? What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose and show you just how powerful I really am.
He does go ham on him.
Yeah. I just like the whole, I feel like I live in a world full of cardboard thing. I think that's...
Yeah.
Thinking about Superman like that is... kind of puts a whole new perspective on him. Yeah. I think that might be my favorite Superman scene, ever, right there.
What do you think about the correlation between that and our Savior, Jesus Christ?
And our Savior.
Who has and had... when he was on Earth, all the power.
Yeah.
And yet he restrained himself, both with his humanity, though he was still 100% God, and also with what he was willing and able to do in the moment.
Interesting. It's funny that you bring up that connection, because I feel like that there is that inevitable connection between the two.
Yeah. Keep going. I want to see if I have a book on the bookshelf.
Because they both have, a dual nature.
Yeah.
Of God and man, in a sense. Oh, I've got that too.
I know. Hollywood Heroes. Literally looking at the cover is Superman-esque. I want to find the...
I mean, it's more literal with Superman, of course, because he was fully gun, fully man. But
He does not have a chapter on Superman.
what?
Yeah. Captain America, Iron Man, Harry Potter, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Ultimate Hero.
What's this guy's name?
Frank Turek.
Come on, Frank.
Frank!
Where's the Superman chapter?
No. Again, this was the most influential book in starting this podcast. But
you didn't write a chapter
I'm
on
sure
Superman.
I haven't read it in a second, but I do believe that the introduction talks about it.
Okay.
But it's things like this that it's a physical book, and I wish I could control F.
Control half the physical
Yeah,
book.
I'd be like, search it, and I would need to find Superman. But yeah, it's also a very obvious correlation between the character of Superman and Jesus. You know, all of the perfect things and hard to defeat, I guess, but it's not a direct correlation. Anyways, being a god among men, blending in, there's all those connections, I guess.
I think the creator of Superman was Jewish.
I mean,
But
he knows about it.
yeah.
Knew about it. Anyways, the DCAU.
Yeah.
Anything else about that?
I mean, there's probably more I could have said, but
Yeah.
haven't watched much of that in a while.
Yeah.
That's just the scene that always comes to me when I think of
Yeah.
their Superman. So
Good. As you were talking about Superman holding back, I thought of a comic that I heard of. You know, people are talking about the new Superman and comic relations and what Superman should be. And there was one, I think it was a Snyder fan, but it was brought to my attention a comic where Superman has a gun, shoots it at a bad guy, and then catches the bullet before it gets to him.
Oh, yeah.
Just to scare him.
Yep.
Or something like that. And that sounds pretty crazy. Maybe not the Superman we want, or maybe it's supposed to be the turning of Superman, and that's what they were arguing that Snyder was going for. I don't know. But that sounds like a cool scene, and made me want to actually read that comic.
That seems like something Batman would do if he had Superman powers.
Yeah. Not saying that anyone who writes a comic about Superman is automatically writing the Bible about Superman and is automatically correct about it.
Yep.
So maybe that wasn't a good reason to just... I don't know which way that person was arguing. Maybe it was my point. Is like, not all comics are all the perfect version of Superman.
Yeah, there's a lot of comics, but I don't think many of them are actually good.
Yeah. But moving on past that, I think I have two more that I want to touch on. Superman and Lois.
Yep.
Which you have watched most of.
Season and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of good things about Superman and Lois. Shows the family side of Superman. He's got kids.
Yeah.
They have powers.
Yeah.
He has a good Lex Luthor I've seen. He looks like a biker in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's also about Superman and Lois. It's about the family man, I think. And he's established as Superman from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. And he goes on from there.
Yeah, so it's a bit complicated. His Superman kind of debuted in the second season of Supergirl in the first couple episodes.
That's where it's from.
Yep.
I did watch that far in Supergirl way back in college.
I only watched like those 2 episodes of Supergirl, and that's like besides crossover episodes, that's the only Supergirl I've seen.
Yeah.
And the musical episode. Wait, no, that's the Flash.
Yeah, the musical episode.
I kind of love that musical episode, but yeah. And then he came back for the Elseworlds crossover. Well, he came back in Supergirl too at once, and
he's an alternate. It's an alternate universe Superman because he's not from the Arrowverse. Correct.
That one, I mean, that makes it more complicated as well. Supergirl started in another universe.
Oh, Supergirl. Yep, you're right.
And then with Crisis, it became all the same universe. And, he was back for Crisis. Mm-hmm. And then when Superman and Lois started, it was implied for like the first season that it took place in the Arrowverse as well. Even though he had a different Superman suit and some things didn't match up exactly, it was still roughly implied that it was still the same universe because John Diggle shows up in one of the last episodes.
Cool.
Even though he never shares a scene with Superman.
I'm not getting into that.
He gets a scene with Lois, and it's like, Why would you bring John Diggle in but not have him talk with Superman ever?
Interesting. We don't critique the CW too hard.
No.
Actually, we do, but that's why we ignore it eventually.
And then season 2 is where they said it was retconned to be another universe.
It's just easier not to connect it.
Yeah. And so everything that John Diggle said at the end of the first season about his friend who sacrificed himself, it's just very similar events happened in this other universe.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if he ever says Oliver Queen. I don't think he ever says him by name. But
Sure.
So he just had very similar things happen to a friend in this other universe.
Sure.
May or may not be Oliver Queen. But anyway, the interesting thing about Superman and Lois is that it's really a post-Superman show. If you know what I mean.
Like he's done with his glory days.
Kind of, yeah. It's, it takes place after where all, like, the traditional Superman stories take place.
Fights Lex.
He's not in...
Does he have a Justice League in this universe? Like, does he...
No,
Has he fought with a team?
It's never really implied that he's fought with a team. I think he's really meant to be the only superhero in this universe.
Okay. Interesting.
But, traditional Superman story, he's in Metropolis, dating Lois. He's working for the Daily Planet with Lois, Jimmy, Perry.
Yep.
All that's going on. He's fighting Lex Luthor, Brainiac, all these villains in Metropolis. But now this takes place way after that, where he's married to Lois. He's got twin sons. They moved back to Smallville. So it's really interesting to see that side of Superman.
Yeah.
And I think he is my favorite live action Superman. I'm going to say that right there.
Wow.
Come after me, Snyder fans.
So far?
So far. We'll see what David Cornsweat's going to pull off.
Yeah.
But
So far.
it is so funny how the Arrowverse and the CW was just dying for years.
Yeah.
With poor writing and all that. But then somehow they pull off like one of the greatest Superman shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even finished watching it yet, but just everything I've heard about the final season, even with the limited budget and they half the series regulars as the past 3 seasons.
Yeah.
They still pulled off a great final season to the show, from what I've heard. So I'm excited to watch that at some point.
Yeah.
But he really brings the man to the role, as I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And one of the big things in the show is him, balancing being a father and being Superman as well.
Yeah.
Because he's off doing Superman things, like saving people from volcanoes and stuff like that. And then Lois is like, we need you here. You need to be a father to these kids. So, especially like for the CW, it's very traditional with family and all that.
Well, and you also said that one of his sons is canonically gay, and
Yeah,
they
and-
didn't do that, or they
And
didn't lean into that.
they made him straight in the show. So that's, yeah, it's like it seems like CW like wised up too late.
Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Having the CW name be on something seems like a downer.
Yeah.
And even before the Arrowverse, people were like, "Oh, I think CW show wasn't as prominent of a term, but people would understand what you meant. Like pretty cheesy.
They were all teen dramas.
Yeah, all that stuff. But I would hope that maybe they'd shy away from DC or from CW and still make good shows through Gunn and with some creative people.
It's funny when Superman and Lois was first coming out. I saw, someone made a fan poster, one of those editors on Instagram, and the caption on the bottom of the post was, "I've never been so excited to be disappointed." Because that's how I felt about it too. I was totally expecting to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Especially being titled Superman and Lois, I expected it to be very, I don't know, I expected Lois to become another Iris. and it just be like very loud, very like, hey, I can do things too, but how?
Yeah.
But she's a great Lois, and they make her, you know, she's a strong, independent woman, I would say, but they don't take things too far like they do with. I mean, she's a well-written female character.
She's a wife and she's a mom.
Who's not meant to be like propaganda for a feminist movement.
It's good.
Like I feel like Iris was.
Yeah. It kind of backfired for Iris.
Yeah. And she is also like great casting for Lois. Bitsy Tulloch is her name.
Cool.
Technically it's Elizabeth Tulloch, but everyone calls her Bitsy, and so that's. But
as I've discussed with Ellie, Elizabeth is a very versatile name. And it just kind of depends on the person you become.
Eliza, Beth, Bitsy, Ellie, maybe even. Oh, Ellie. Yeah.
Yep. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah. I wasn't even thinking about that when I said it.
Mind blown. Whoa.
Okay.
Deep breaths.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, she's really just like she really feels like the Lois Lane from the DCAU in live action.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
And I also see a lot of that in Rachel Brosnahan as well.
Good transition. I wanted to get talking about the movie that's coming out in 6 months.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that, as I joked about in our State of DCU, I believe.
Yeah.
State of DC episode, that we will not be having a baby by the time Superman comes out. I don't remember what led up to that joke, but not happening. So we got the trailer. Well, we got a teaser for a teaser. We got a teaser. Technically, this isn't a trailer. It's a teaser trailer. A lot of division online.
Yeah.
The Snyder fans are being very loud.
Well, most of the division's caused by the Snyder fans.
Yeah. I have seen some good criticism from some people who aren't just all gun fanatics and DC fanatics. I am excited myself. There has been a lot of cool things shown from the trailer. I personally don't like Clark's perm, but it also plays into two different people.
Yeah.
To me, I'm thinking of like, does he unperm his hair before he goes to be Superman? Does he have to perm his hair in order to go back to being Clark Kent? Or does he
got
have
super speed, he can do that stuff quickly.
It's a very, very small criticism from my part.
Yeah.
I believe William has shared his caution about, is this movie going to be about Superman or about the people around Superman? Like, Guns thrives in crowd movies, not even group movies. Like, there's so much happening with different characters in his movies that, yet he still does a good job. So, like, in The Suicide Squad, he still makes it focus on Deadshot and Harley. In Guardians of the Galaxy, he still makes it focused on that character, like Rocket in the third one.
He's not. Deadshot isn't in his Suicide Squad.
I get them all mixed up. I threw a dart at the wall and I missed. What's his name?
You talking about Idris Elba's character?
Yes.
Bloodsport.
Yep. Deadshot is Will Smith's character. Yep. I mean, technically, that is the role he was supposed to be playing. They just couldn't have Will Smith back because he didn't want to be.
Yeah. Wait, is that what happened?
Or maybe Gunn didn't want him. I don't know. But it's the sharpshooter character.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those. I mean, they could have done Deathstroke, which is
he's different.
Orange and black.
Not as.
He's more melee as well, but he's also a good shot.
Yeah,
that's the point. Anyways, what are your thoughts? You've shared them onto the Discord of the Superman movie, and
I'm
the discourse about that.
I mean, I'm excited. It looks like what a Superman movie should be.
Yeah.
One of the main criticisms that I've seen is that there's just so many people or so many characters.
Yep.
Especially with all the superheroes that they're having right away. But I've heard that a major plot point in this movie is going to be Superman entering into a world of established heroes. So
Yep.
that's why we already have Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific.
And they seem to already
Metamorpho.
be a part of a team
Yep.
that is headed up by somebody who's not all that good.
Yeah.
And the conflict seems to be that Superman doesn't want to be a part of that,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's on the same side as these heroes who seem to have fallen prey to somebody's leadership that they shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think corporate sponsorship is going to be part of the story in this and why that's not a good thing for superheroes to be doing.
Similar to the boys
Yeah.
who are like characters of the government.
Yep.
To be actors and to be PR, I guess.
So, I mean, that's, that kind of leads into like one of the other critiques that has especially happened when all the set photos come out. It's like the suits for these other heroes looking lame. That's because they're, they match because they're all from Lord Tech, which
Yeah.
is Maxwell Lord's company.
Yep.
Who's being played by Sean Gunn. Which was an interesting casting. That's the casting where I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else was I going? I think David Cornsweet is pulling off both sides very well of Superman and Clark Kent.
People have been talking about first Reeves doing it with the slouch and
Yeah.
the standing straight. I
Yep.
think that Cornsweet has shown that he does that with the trailer. Obviously, the only thing we've seen of the looking small to looking big, and that just changes a lot about a person.
Yeah. Also, he's doing something with his jaw too. I think did you send me that or
I don't.
maybe I sent it
haven't
to
heard
you?
about this.
Where he's almost like reverse mewing. Is how I've heard it described.
So like bulging or
yeah, almost bulging his jawline.
flexing somehow. I don't know.
His jawline looks a lot more rounded when he's Clark Kent. I don't know if you noticed that in the trailer, but
Or maybe he's just mewing when he's Superman. I don't know how to do it. I don't practice in front of a mirror, believe it or not. No, stop. Rizzler has no place in my conversations.
oh, let's get him on the pod.
No. Zach and I send each other the
No,
Costco
mostly
guys.
I send them to him mostly, and then he gets mad.
Sometimes I send you like Rizzler and Costco guys just being cringe.
Yeah.
And I can't understand how people make a living off of these things.
Well, it's hate watching.
I know.
That's the dumb thing.
All they do is go boom into the camera. Here I am spending 10 hours a week working on a podcast that
Yeah.
makes no money.
It's like how Haley Welsh got big too. It's just
Don't get me started.
hate watching.
Yep. Anyways.
It's how Velma got a second season. Hate watching. Stop hate watching,
Yeah,
guys.
I know.
Unless you're hate watching us, because we could use more views. Wait.
It's not a trade I'm willing to make. You were talking about suits. You were talking about Superman. What do you think about the Superman suit? We were going to come back to the emblem. I was going to talk about the realism of the suit and relating that to the Amazing Spider-Man, specifically the opening scene of Amazing Spider-Man 2, which everybody talks about. It looks real. It doesn't. The Tom Holland suit looks like CGI and is technically fits with the story because he's supposed to shrink wrap it. But even then, you're still gonna have wrinkles, and the Andrew Garfield suit, ripples and changes, and even I think they made that into the CGI suit. Like it wasn't just an excuse to make an easy way out of no wrinkles in the suit, right? And the same thing with Cornsweat's suit is that it seems to be pretty real. People say it looks loose. People don't like the trunks on it. No, I don't know. I get what they're saying. I don't see it as a big problem.
Everyone's saying it looks just like Star-Lord's suit from Volume 3.
Yeah.
I suppose I can kind of see that, but to me it looks like a Superman suit, Especially if you get into like the new 52 Superman, that's what the suit looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the emblem's different, but
Some people get really detailed and talk like collar and wrist length and the patterns. Patterns does make sense because that's kind of the James Gunn style with the wide angles that kind of make up drawing random lines on a suit to make it tactical. Color, and obviously people have talked about the logo, trunks over not trunks. I don't know.
It's interesting that they are giving him a collar now.
I don't know what that means.
I will say that's
it
interesting.
doesn't make sense to me.
To have a collar or to not have a collar?
Why it's a big deal?
I don't know. I feel like he usually doesn't have a collar. I think they just do that, to show off more than anything, to show off the actor's physique.
Sure.
And pecs or whatever.
Okay.
So
I have no opinion one way or the other.
maybe pecs is the wrong word. It's whatever.
Collarbone? Clavicle?
Clavicle? I don't know what they want to show off.
That clavicle.
Yeah, show off that clavicle.
I gotta say, anytime I say David Cornsweet, Ellie says, "What an unfortunate name."
Yeah.
He didn't pick it, but it's a little odd. The more you think about it, it's like, yeah.
Also, when everyone goes, he looks like Henry Cavill, I'm like, maybe they both look like Superman.
Maybe they were cast properly.
Yeah.
You're not gonna cast William Dafoe as Superman. Like,
No.
there's a look to a guy like that. Also, I was gonna say this way earlier, but I'm remembering it now. When you say that some characters or some actors play the man better than the super, I think Henry Cavill played the super very well.
Yeah,
That's
he did.
why he was a
Yeah.
good Superman. He wasn't that great of a Clark Kent, but he had the physique for it for sure.
I think I will say that he was the best cast Superman.
See, we're gonna get down the Spider-Man rabbit hole of like different aspects of the character that they nailed.
Yeah. I'm not saying he was far from the best Superman in how he was portrayed. But, with a better director and a better script, he could have been a great Superman.
So you think he embodies the look of Superman the best?
Yes.
That makes sense.
I don't know if you ever heard about this, but you know who Christopher McQuarrie is, right?
I think so.
The director of Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
He pitched, I think, a Superman and a Green Lantern movie to Warner Brothers.
Wow.
They said no to both. Because I guess Warner Brothers just doesn't like making money.
Warner Brothers is...
But
I'm almost embarrassed that we made a a Nolan Bros. Warner Brothers parody shirt because I don't like Warner Bros.
Yeah. Maybe they will impress us now by letting James Gunn just go free.
Yeah.
But I hope they just let James Gunn do what he does.
Yeah. If they know what he's done with Guardians and such, they would. We're going to finish up here. Where's it going?
I'm very excited to see what James Gunn has in store. He's proved himself multiple times that he's a talented director who knows how to write a compelling story without it getting super complicated or political or
and emotional. He does it very
he does
emotionally.
emotionals very well.
Yeah.
I said way back in our 2023 in what episode was that? Is the MCU really dead?
Really dead. So the second one.
No, is the MCU dead? That one.
I don't remember.
Which are because we filmed the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 bit later.
That's right.
And in that episode, I said, or in that little additional thing we filmed, I said Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 gives me more hope for DC than it does for Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think he really proved himself there because the first two Guardians of the Galaxy movies are funny first and emotional second, I will say.
Yeah.
But the third one was really emotional first and funny second.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's really the tone you need for a great Superman movie. Mm-hmm. And I also respect that, he gets filming done for his movies like a year before they come out.
Give time for this.
To give time for VFX artists who are getting overrushed and overworked by Marvel right now. And
he knows
all these other studios. So I respect that decision as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see. I think everyone's well cast. We've already talked about like Skylar Gisondo being a fabulous casting.
I still need Holt to be proven for me for Lex Luthor.
Really? Okay.
Only because he looks too young, and
Yeah.
I only know him from having hair, and so it's like, the bald doesn't fit him well in my opinion. But I don't know. That's my personal opinion, not a big critique.
You've got to watch Smallville.
Sure.
Because Lex is a younger guy in that show too, and he's scary.
Sure.
He gets scary.
Yeah.
Oh, I had something else I want to talk about with Superman and Lois.
Discord, maybe.
I want to talk about I think I sent you the scene with where Lex Luthor turns on those red lights.
Yeah. He's still able to fight.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's kind of like another opportunity where he got to cut loose, except it's different. So
Sure.
Can I talk about that now, or should we?
Super quick.
Okay. Going back to Superman and Lois real quick. Maybe are you gonna edit? You're probably not gonna edit this.
No, this is gonna be an easy edit episode because we're one room.
Yep. I also want to talk about going back to Superman and Lois. There's a great scene in the 4th season that I saw where he's him and Lex are in a confrontation, and Lex somehow changed all the lights to red. Somehow. We'll see. I haven't seen the show yet. So, but then, for one thing, that takes Superman's powers away. But then on the other hand, that gives him the opportunity to just wail on Lex.
Man to man.
Yeah. Without worrying about how to, killing him and crushing his skull.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see the darker side of Superman in that way. I mean, and he got dark like that because his family was threatened. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when I respect a character getting dark.
Yeah.
Is when their loved ones get threatened. I mean, I talked about that back in Spider-Man too. Whenever Spider-Man's loved ones gets threatened, he kind of, it's like a switch that flips in his brain, and he almost gets deadly. So
yeah,
seeing that with Superman there was very interesting to see, and it just really connects to how much he cares about the people in his life.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll definitely do a review of Superman on Discord after it comes out, but I don't know that. I think we said we were going to do the State of DC after Superman came out, so we'll talk about that a lot there. And then obviously we'll be talking about the trailers and stuff as they come out online on the Discord, so definitely join that.
I also have HBO Max in this house now, so I'll be able to watch some of the shows that come out there.
There you go. Yeah. There's a plus.
Yeah.
All right. More Superman talk on the Discord, where you will see us there, and we'll talk about it there, and anything we forgot and mentioned and need more confirmation and need to look at. I don't know. Anything more?
Look up.
Yeah. Oh, that theme though. I like this.
Yeah.
The new Superman theme. It's really cool.
I also find it funny how, the first Man of Steel poster was him looking down.
Yeah. There's some teasing, I guess, going on between what
I don't know if it's
happened.
intentional or not, but it's just kind of funny how it's now. Even like the tagline is "Look up."
It's hopeful.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is that we have hope as well in the real world.
And in Christ.
Same thing. All right, we have a mic to drop now.
Yes.
Anyways, share this with a friend. Make sure to join our Discord, follow our Instagram, and we will have fun episodes coming for you soon.
Peace out.
Peace out, Rainbow Trout.
Thanks for watching, Mom.
No, that's not my thing. I don't want to do Rainbow Trout again.
Rainbow Trout, what?
That's the phrase. Peace out, Rainbow Trout.
Oh.
Till next week, know that you're loved. God bless.
Hey!
Thank